So the Rams are still getting disrespected as they come into this Colts game as underdogs again. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this video, is my preview and predictions for the Rams versus Colts game. Let's get into it. So here we are on PFF. This is the place that I like to check out just because it gives us kind of an overview of how players are doing. Now, I want to mention, I don't just take PFF grades to heart. Sometimes there's players I think are doing very well, but they might have had one or two really bad plays, and PFF weights that like really unevenly. So I'm not saying that PFF is this perfect system, and if Matthew Stafford is ranked 80 and Anthony Richardson is ranked 55, that he's like the way better quarterback or whatever they want to say. But pretty much the reason that I'm making this video is to kind of give you guys a reason to bet your house on the Rams. Now, that is a joke, complete disclaimer. Do not bet anything that I say. This is not financial advice. But seriously, how are the Rams 1.5 point underdogs to the Colts when the Rams have either beat or should have beat the top teams in the league? And the 49ers, you know, the Rams had a lot of bad calls not to go their way. We won't rehash the past, but with the Bengals, they literally had every single thing that could go wrong in that game, and they still only lost by 3. And we beat the Seahawks in convincing fashion 30-13, and now everyone's saying that they're like one of the best teams in the league once again. This line personally makes no sense to me, but we won't stay hung up on that too long. The over-under is at 44.5. This basically means I think it's going to be a 24-21 game. So personally, I think it's kind of right on. I think the Rams will probably win 28-17. So whatever that math adds up to, that's like 45, I guess. So that over-under makes sense to me. I think the Rams are going to blow this team out of the water, and I'll tell you why just one second. Okay, so you guys might be like, yo, the Colts are 2-1. They're 2-1 against the spread. They should beat the Rams. They're 1-2. They're also 2-0-1 against the spread. But the Colts are 2-1, so they should win. Well, the Rams have played the fourth hardest schedule so far with the Bengals, who I know they're 1-2, but they are still one of the top teams in the league. And then also with the 49ers, supposedly the best team in the league. And then Seahawks and people are saying that they're a top 10 team in the league. Like, that's probably as hard of a start as you can get. So the fact that the Rams are 1-2 is probably impressive to most that wouldn't have expected the Rams to even win a game by now. But honestly, the Rams could have won each 3 of these games. None of these teams showed, to me at least, that they're 100% better than the Rams. But either way, the Rams are throwing the ball at a 63% rate. So are the Colts, pretty much exactly the same. This is most likely because they've both been down in games. But either way, in terms of impact player injuries, we got Alaric Jackson, who, he got hurt in tonight's game. Hopefully he's okay. Joseph Nopum, a little bit of line, stuff to worry about here for the Rams. Hopefully Cooper Kupp is coming back in week 5, but he definitely won't be back for this game because he's on IR, so he's not even allowed to. With the Colts, they got Ryan Kelly and Fries, both questionable. Not too sure on their status as of yet. Either way, we got here our lineups now, so we can talk about which places I like, which places I don't like. Personally, I don't think the Colts have a very good offensive line. Now, if Anthony Richardson plays, which I assume he will, he kind of nullifies this because he's a very mobile quarterback, and he has rushing touchdowns, which has been going very well for him. But I really don't like the receivers much. They don't really pose too much of a threat. Now, I do like Michael Pittman Jr. Because he is a USC guy. He has shown that he can be a very solid player, to top 20 wide receiver in 2021. Getting to be a vet at this point, but still nothing like Jamar Chase that we just faced, and our corners had relative success at times with, and not at others. Alec Pierce not scaring me one bit. Josh Downs also not scaring me. He is a rookie, so he could grow. But their offensive line, nothing too crazy to write home about. We've actually been solid against the run D, and or we were solid this past weekend against the run offense of the Bengals. Weren't too good against the 49ers, but that's neither here nor there. We've been good two games out of the year against the run. So Moss, not exactly, Zach Moss, not exactly scaring me. But if Anthony Richardson does play, yeah, we need to be careful with him because he's a very mobile quarterback that can, make things happen just like Lamar Jackson. But on the our side of the ball, Ahkello Witherspoon made that amazing interception this week, so hoping he can kind of replicate that success. And our safeties have been doing very well with Russ East and Jordan Fuller. Reminder, these grades are not updated after this past game. Darion Kendrick has played well at times. He's kind of had some blunders, and that's what has led to his bad grade. But there's other times where he does bad against Jamar Chase one play and then makes an amazing pass deflection the next. So he's kind of hot and cold. Hopefully he can dial in. But we have a very solid secondary, I would say. Our defensive line has been doing better than I thought. Aaron Donald had a great game. He had 2 tackles for loss and a sack against the Bengals. Byron Young also showing that he's a good rookie and he's probably just going to continue to grow. And then Ernest Jones has been playing very well as well. I'd give the edge to the Rams here in terms of defense versus offense. Just considering we have Aaron Donald and he's kind of getting into his flow going into this week. And then in terms of the Rams offense, Alaric Jackson goes down. I'm not sure on his status as of yet. But it was apparent that our backup is not ready, so I hope that we get that figured out. Steve Avila has been playing way better than his grade suggests. He's been playing very, very solid. Maybe in the run game, not as much, but in the pass game, he's been playing way better. Coleman Shelton, the number 10 center, playing like it. Joseph Noteboom also dealing with some injuries. Rob Havenstein playing better than I think this shows too. Puka Nacua played great again. He had 72 yards, I believe 6 receptions. And Tutu Atwell, had some flash moments, and that's what I expect out of him. Tyler Higbee also probably his best game of the year. Matthew Stafford and Kyren Williams, Stafford keeps throwing these interceptions and he needs to rein back on it. I think if he doesn't throw any interceptions, we win every game this year. And I think that's the same going into the Colts. He can't throw an interception or else we're going to lose. Kyren Williams played a great game as our running back, but didn't get enough carries in this past game for him to really shine. So he only had 38 yards rushing and only 27 receiving, but we really just were passing the whole time and getting absolutely hounded by the edge rushers. Now, in terms of the Colts D-line, I think it's actually very solid. Ebicom, a former Ram, his play speaks for itself. Grover Stewart having his best year to date, getting a real veteran presence with DeForest Buckner, who's always good, and Kwity Paye. This, might be one of the better defensive lines, against the run and the pass that we've seen. But their secondary not as good. I do like Dallas Flowers and what we've seen of him so far this year, but he's a bit unproven. Kenny Moore is a great corner, I will say, but I'm really not scared of Julian Blackman, and I'm not scared of Rodney Thomas II. So I think we can exploit that over the top, especially with Tutu Atwell. And I think Puka Nacua is going to have a day, but we're just going to have to really, shore up the offensive line, and that's the only thing that scares me. I think their defensive line has an edge on our offensive line for sure. And Matthew Stafford's going to have to get that ball out quick, but if he does get some time on plays here and there, I think he's going to expose him with Tutu Atwell and Puka Nacua. So I think I give the Rams a slight edge just with our playmakers and the terrible secondary of the Colts. But I also think that we need to get that run game going as well. But in terms of predictions, I'm going to give the Rams a 28-17 win just because I don't think they're going to be able to do much on defense. And I think the Rams really want to go into this game with the Eagles, 2-2 rather than being 1-3. It's going to be a tough game, and they're most likely going to be pretty big underdogs. And we don't want to be 1-4 going into our 6th game of the year. That would just be pretty demoralizing for the team. So I think they're really going to make this one count. I think we'll win 28-17. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.